Okay, welcome to Monday Meetup on Monday, November 17th, everybody. And I want to remind you that we will not have Monday Meetup next Monday. We'll try to remember to do an announcement, but for Thanksgiving week, we are just going to have an amazing BOGO week this week. And then we're going to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and take next Monday off. So we'll make sure to make an announcement about that, but I wanted to say that first so I don't forget. So we are on our last week of Go for Growth now, and we want to talk about maintaining momentum this week. So throughout the week, you're going to see some posts, videos, that type of thing in Go for Growth about getting beyond your warm market. So you always want to keep filling your funnel. You always want to keep doing pipes. And that's what our giveaways will still be centered around, doing your pipes activities, staying in touch with your accountability group to do that. But we also want to move into where you are finding and launching builders. You're thinking about your next goal. You are thinking about personal development, always focusing on what you can do to grow personally. And one of the things that I love that we teach a lot of people to think about when they're looking at personal development is leading and building from your strengths. So knowing your top five strengths, making sure your team members know their strengths so that you can work together and understand how you're going to best work together. So that's really an important key is knowing your strengths and helping others to work from their strengths. And there's a lot of aha moments, a lot of light bulb moments that you'll have when you know your strengths and you know your key builders and leaders' strengths, and you can understand kind of how to speak each other's language. So, and where you are really leading from strength and where you need some work in that. So that's kind of what some of the posts this week will be about. So we'll talk about some of it. When we look at expanding beyond your warm market and maintaining momentum beyond Go for Growth, that's what you'll see focused this week. Some posts, some videos and things, some activities, some final activities for Go for Growth. And of course, if you didn't finish all of the Go for Growth activities through the 8 weeks, it'll still be there in the group. We are organizing them into guides so you can go through. You can hopefully remember to check off the ones that you've done so you can quickly at a glance see the ones you may have missed and go back and do those when you have time. But first of all, we are going to talk about filling your funnel. So pipes looks different for different people in different seasons. Maybe you're doing a season where there's a lot of vendor events because it's holidays. Maybe you have a lot of classes because you've gotten classes booked from classes. Maybe you're mostly doing one-on-one consults and asking for referrals for more one-on-one consults. Maybe you've gotten a Zyto biofeedback scanner and that's your main focus right now. Or maybe you are doing classes, but they're different types of classes, not just your standard oil class, maybe some make and takes, maybe some other DIY. Maybe you are doing some of the things we've talked about before, sourdough or making candles or a book club, spa night, trivia, a bingo, oils focused or not, a mom's group. Again, not all of these will be oil focused, but it could be a way to expand your network and to do a soft introduction of oils to some new people. Of course, networking in your community. If you have time to join a networking group or your Chamber of Commerce, that is a great way to connect with others, to network. And really, it comes down to looking for ways to add value to your community and to kind of be seen as a resource and the expert oil person in your network. So you will be always inviting, always doing the pipes activities. You're going to also invite others to share, to host. You will ask for referrals. You're going to talk to strangers. You're going to get better and better at being friendly, being the most friendly version of yourself, and just making new connections wherever you go. And that is how you'll keep your calendar full. So that's a lot of what maintaining momentum boils down to, is just keeping your calendar full, keeping your funnel full, and meeting new people. So I would love for this to be interactive. Remember, if you have your camera on, you will have a chance to win. I have Citrus Twist. Isn't that the one I pulled out? Citrus Twist and the Melama. They're around here somewhere. Here they are. So Citrus Twist is the one for having your camera on during the Zoom tonight. I'll draw that soon. And then at the end of the week, I'll draw a winner for my llama, which is the blend that's the nurturing blend is what they call it, but it's got some beautiful Hawaiian oils in it. And that's the one for doing pipes activities this week. So both of these are LTO oils that you cannot buy anymore, ones that came out as special promotions. So I would love to know if there are some ways you have found to expand beyond your warm market or what's been working for you lately. If you have a different idea or one of the ideas I've already shared, what is working for you to keep meeting new people and to keep your calendar full? Let's start with that for interaction tonight. Who's got anything that's working well for you?
I guess the best thing that I do is all my networking stuff. Because I'm maybe an anomaly because I don't have a husband, I don't have kids in school, I don't even have kids in the house anymore. And I choose to worship other outside of a church. And so it was kind of like, where am I going to meet people? So I do chamber, which it's the kind of the same people every week, but at the same time, there's always new people coming in. And anytime that there's other networking things that I can go to, I try to show up to those. And I always have my doTERRA, name badge on. And I think probably pretty much in my community now, everybody knows me as the doTERRA lady. But just always finding a way to talk, somehow let it come up in a conversation. And it keeps my calendar pretty full. But like at the doctor's office, I just enrolled somebody that's the works in the office at my chiropractor's office. I'm trying to think where else. I'm working with, I've been doing a lot of healing hands. There's another thing is doing healing hands activities that gets a whole entire group of different people
Mm,
if you've got a nonprofit to work with. So that's
yeah.
been well for me.
Yeah, I love that because you are doing a mix of networking, getting out, meeting new people, also serving and helping others. And that's one of the key ways that I emphasize a lot is if you're looking for ways to meet people, you can focus on a hobby or an interest you have. You can also focus on how to volunteer if you have some extra time, because there's always organizations in our communities that need volunteers badly and are serving others in the community. And networking with other volunteers or staff of those organizations have been just some really valuable connections that have enhanced my personal life. And also just, you get out of your own head and think about the needs around you in your community and how you can serve and be a blessing. And it comes back and blesses you. And that is just a really beautiful thing. So that's a great way to, like you said, healing hands focus as well. Anybody else have anything that you're doing that's helping you get out of your warm market and maintain that forward momentum in your business? Thank you for sharing, Twinka.
Well, I got my Zyto and I'm
Okay,
still I'm still learning to use it, but I did mine. So
good.
that's going to be my focus for the week is BOGOs,
Hmm.
introducing people to BOGOs and then lining up some people to get their Zyto scans done.
Good.
Because
Awesome. Yeah.
that's new. That's why I bought it because I haven't really been doing much in the norm, doing classes and stuff. I just don't have time to do that. So
Hmm. Okay, good. Yes. There's lots of great Zyto strategies and things, and Tanya has a monthly call just for that. So if that's something you're interested in, there's some introductory stuff you can watch and a separate kind of group for that too. So that's great. And yeah, BOGOs, of course, huge opportunity this week. So we'll talk more about that too toward the end of the call. But that's a big thing to make sure we are capitalizing on in whatever way we can because it's such a win-win. It's such a great deal for our customers, for new people coming in. And these are the best BOGOs of the year. And it only lasts for 5 days. So we've got a limited time to really help people get the best bang for their buck and get healing in their homes and natural wellness options that will last them the whole year through. So yeah, all those seeds that you've planted, you have a chance to follow up on now. So all those maybe samples you've given out or people that you've mentioned this to or that have come towards you a little bit but haven't bitten the bullet and gotten an account or ordered in a while. Maybe they did get an account, but they just ordered once and it's been a while. This is when you really want to be reaching out to them. So we'll talk about some ideas for that. So, along with keeping our calendars full, filling those funnels, we want to be always in the mindset of finding and launching builders. And there's going to be a couple of really good videos this week about maintaining that mindset and also some practical ways to think about duplication and move forward in duplication. So, it really does need to be simple. You don't need to overcomplicate duplication. There's some ratios that you'll hear some different leaders talk about. Like if you invite 100 people, you might get 50 to come. Of those 50, 25 will enroll. All of them should be getting support from you, the S of pipes. And then you should be asking anyone you can, are you open to the idea of creating income with doTERRA? Of those, 15 may listen to the business opportunity. Of those 15, 10 will say yes, 5 will be serious about the business and will become sharers or builders. You'll launch them. And that's where, you can examine those ratios. But I find some of those numbers that are thrown out, that's going to be different for every person. I know some people on our team, they may have smaller numbers of people that they actually get to come to events, that they may invite a lot more than that in order to get smaller numbers, but then they have about 100% enrollment almost. So that's great. That's going to be different. You don't need to compare those numbers, but just knowing that your ratio is probably pretty normal if you have a really small number of those who say yes to the business and then are actually serious about launching and doing the business and doing this in a consistent way with the commitment that you have, similar commitment that you have. But you do want to always be having those conversations, and you can't let the no's or those who maybe say yes, but then don't actually show up and do much or decide to kind of scale back and just casually share. You can't let that get in your head and shake your confidence. Know that that is really normal and that the atypical response is to actually seriously build and commit. But you will find those if you keep asking and if you don't let your belief be eroded, as Stephanie really focused all last week on belief. Those are some great videos. I highly recommend going back and watching if you didn't get a chance to do that, because it really does boil down to your belief before you can even have the conversations. So some questions you can ask from the beginning. Are you open to learning about essential oils? So it's just a really non-threatening way in the prepare and invite phase of pipes to just ask, are you open to learning? And most people will say, yes. You're not yet asking if they're open to using. So when you present and you're looking at enrolling, so you've done your presentation, your class, your one-on-one, whatever that looks like. So you're getting to the second P of pipes. Then you ask, are you open to using essential oils? So the first one, are you open to learning about essential oils, just opens up that door to then invite them to a presentation. Are you open to using essential oils? Opens the door to enroll. And then after you've enrolled and you're doing the support phase, that's when you ask, are you open to the idea of creating income with doTERRA? And as they look at the business opportunity with you, then you say, are you ready to get started? So those are the 4 main questions, and you want to take them in succession. Now, that's not to say that there won't sometimes be someone who jumps right to the idea of creating income with doTERRA before they've even enrolled or used oils, or maybe they know about doTERRA and they know the business opportunity. That happens, but most of the time it's going to come through those doors of learning about essential oils and then being open to using essential oils and becoming a customer first. And it might be 10 minutes before they decide they're interested in the business, they're open to the idea of creating income, or it might be 10 years. You don't know, but it's looking for those opportunities to ask those questions. And then as you're teaching the business opportunity, we have the Path to 500 tools, which Tanya shared a lot with us about those. And you want to learn the basics for yourself and practice explaining those to someone. That will really help you as well. Like we talked about a few weeks ago when I was doing support, practice telling someone about rewards, telling someone about the path to 500 for yourself. We've got some great tools Tanya put together. doTERRA has given us, the widget so we can understand that, and some other great tools on the compensation plan, that YouTube list that they just released explaining the new compensation enhancements. It's really useful. But you want to make sure that you can also explain it, that you understand it, and then you can explain it. And that will help your mindset a lot. And remember that you just by offering this business opportunity, you could alter someone's entire life. You can alter their reality, and they could look back on you asking that question as one of the best days of their life because of the impact and the freedom of our business opportunity. I know I feel that way. I'm sure many of you do too. If you look back and realize when I discovered that there was a business opportunity with doTERRA, that was a turning point in my life. And I'm so thankful that someone was open to asking me that question, to sharing the opportunity with me, to just asking, are you open? In that kind of non-threatening way. But a lot of times people are already thinking about it before you even ask the question, but they're not going to voice it. They're not usually going to come to you and say, hey, I'm really interested in this business. They're going to talk themselves out of it before they ever say it out loud, before they get to the point of saying, I think I might be interested. They're probably going to need you to ask because they're going to think, well, I'm not like her. I'm not like him. I'm not the same personality or age or demographic or whatever it is, living situation. And so they'll think, if I'm not just like you, then I probably can't do this. And you need to remove those obstacles where they're talking themselves out of it and get them to ask themselves, but what if this does work for me? What if I could do this? What impact would that make in my life? What freedom would that open up in my life? How would that change my life? So you want to really go into those conversations when someone is open to the idea of earning income with doTERRA. And you want to have certainty, clarity, and confidence. The three C's. So certainty, do you know that you're going to succeed? Do you know where you're going with this? Do you have a goal? Can you say confidently, this is why I'm doing doTERRA and this is where I'm going? Clarity. Can you see it and clearly describe it, where you're going, what your plan is, your plan of action, your goal? And are you confident? Are you sure you're going to succeed with or without the person that you're talking to? And that's key because you are not dependent on any one person for your success. You want the person you're asking to consider the business to know you would love to work with them. You want them to understand what you see in them that makes you think they would be wonderful to work with, that they would do great at this business, that they would enjoy it, and that they'd really make a big impact in their own community and other people's lives around them. You want them to hear that, but you don't want them to hear desperation. I need you to do this for me to succeed. Because you don't. You don't need any one person except yourself to succeed. And it will be wonderful when people join you, but you're not desperate for people to join you because if you have to drag them in, you're going to have to drag them along. And you're not in that business. None of us is. So you're excited, you're confident, you're clear about where you're going, you're certain of the business opportunity that you have and that you want to share it with others, that you would love for that person to work with you, but you're not desperate and you're not dependent on them. Okay, so we've talked about the business building guide quite a bit. There is a find builders section, and there's a section that also walks through how to do a business overview. It's in the like 80s, 85 to 90 page range if you're looking at the business building guide. And really, you are going to present that. You're going to practice that so you're confident to present what this business looks like. And you want to thank them for taking a look at the business opportunity with you and tell them the reason you wanted to show the information because I believe you'd be very successful for whatever reasons it is that you believe that. And ask them to take a look at the ranks and the income averages in that build guide. And just show them the ranks, the income averages, and ask, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Where do you see yourself? Then you can share your goal. So right now, my goal is to reach the rank of gold. So I need to help 3 people reach the rank of premier. And I was wondering if you'd like to be one of them. You won't know if you don't ask, right? If you're looking at this person thinking, man, they would be great. I would love to have them on my team. I would love to work with them. And I really see opportunity. I see potential. And you just put the question out there. I was wondering if you'd like to be one of those. I'm going to reach the rank of diamond. I need 4 silvers. And I need to help people reach that rank. I was wondering if you'd like to be one of them. Will you partner with me in this? So don't be afraid to ask those questions. The worst they can say is, no, I'm not interested, or I'm not sure right now, but you're planting seeds. It's always planting seeds. And this is the part where we've talked about, offering that cookie and people say no, or offering the ketchup with the fries, those different analogies where the waiter maybe has been coached and trained, always ask if they want dessert, or always ask if they want ketchup with their fries, or whatever it is. And if the person says no, okay, no way, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. Um, and so that's what you want to offer it, but without letting it rock your certainty, your confidence when they say no. Just know a lot of people will, especially at first, and then they might think about it, and you might have a chance to circle back around at a better time for them, and they might have like I said, planted that seed, and you might have to just wait for that to take root. But always be looking for those people, and don't let yourself get discouraged when people aren't joining you right away, or when people that you would love to have work with you say no, because that happens to all of us. Um, so knowing where you're going and how you're going to get there, making sure you have a plan. So we've talked about this a lot of times on Monday Meetup, and you've heard it in general in life that you need to set goals, because a goal without a deadline is just a dream, right? And I would say a goal without a deadline and a plan is just a dream or just a wish. So you want to make sure at the beginning of each month, the beginning of each quarter, the new year, you're really mapping out where you want to go with this, and that you are working toward a specific goal, whether that's enrolling a certain number of people, whether that is like you're doing with your accountability groups, just sharing, these are the 3 things I'm doing today, or these are the main goals I have this week. You want to do that, break it down into small steps from your annual goal, your quarterly goal, your monthly goal, down to your weekly goal, down to your daily goal. And that's how you get the job done, right? One step at a time, one bite at a time, eating that elephant, so to speak. So making sure you know where you're going and how to get there. And then when you're launching builders, making sure you know what they want out of it, not just what your expectations or hopes for them are, but did they specify that they want to do this in their spare time, that they want to do it part-time, or that they have a full-time commitment? Because you don't want to be giving full-time commitment expectations to them when they were thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this in my spare time. I'm not doing this full-time. I'm not that committed. So you want to make sure you know where their income goal is, what their time um, commitment is. And a lot of that is laid out pretty well in the business building guide, and even just the build guide. If you're going through that with someone, it shows you how many hours a week you can expect to work, and how long you could expect it to take to get to some of those goals. So you want to help them lay out a plan, because you want them to be set up for success. You don't want them to say, I need to be diamond in 6 months and I can work 2 hours a week, and go, okay, great. Yeah, that's totally doable. Like, we're not going to lie to people, right? We're not a get rich quick scheme, and we're not about setting false expectations. And so we want to make sure we're working with people to help them understand what this really takes. It takes a lot of hard work. It's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding. You're going to change a lot of lives, and you're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to set your own hours, be your own boss. But you do have to put the time in. You do have to put the work in. You do have to talk to a certain number of people, do a certain number of presentations. You got to do the pipes, right? So set them up for success. And then the next thing you want to be focusing on is your personal development. And so, like I said earlier, that includes knowing your strengths, helping others to know their strengths. And it focuses also on becoming leaders. And so this means, reading books, listening to podcasts, going to convention and leadership when possible for you, or tuning in online. By the way, today was the last day to tune into the virtual convention recordings. So after this, if you have time, it's not too late wherever you are. You might want to catch maybe one or two of those sessions that you missed. But you want to make sure that you're making that a part of your regular life, that you are building your belief, working on your mindset, working on being the best version of yourself, self-care. You know, sometimes we tell others how to take care of themselves, and we're not always taking the best care of ourselves. Moms, we know that, right? Or all parents, really. But also in this business, we can do that as well. So we're making sure that we're taking care of ourselves so that we can show up as our best selves, and also that we understand our strengths and are working from that and working on our mindset and belief. That's why we focused a lot on belief, especially last week with Stephanie. Okay, so what are some areas in there? I covered a lot really quickly. Some areas that you feel maybe are things you need to work on. Maybe it's expanding beyond your warm market and doing some more networking. Maybe it's asking the questions, being brave enough to actually intentionally be in that recruiting mindset of finding and launching builders. Maybe it's just not being certain and clear about where you're going, and you need to map that out and make sure you know where you're going and you are working on a goal for yourself so that you can confidently share that with others. And maybe it's just that you need to practice doing a business overview. Maybe you need to work on brushing up on that, knowing the path to 500 for yourself so you can explain it clearly to someone else. Maybe it's personal development. So, what are some areas in all of that, which we're going to be working through this week, all those different categories and go for growth? But are there any that stand out to you as areas that you have either grown in recently, maybe through Go for Growth, or that you know you want to grow in going forward because to maintain momentum, you're going to need to work on those things. So I'd love to hear from you if there's some things you're doing for personal development or mindset or for just being intentional about asking those questions of people. How is that going for you? How has that changed things in your mindset and your business? Anybody feel brave to share?
Well, I'm going to talk so I don't fall asleep. How
Great.
about that?
You go for it, Twinkle.
Um,
Thank you.
so at convention, when Tanya did her presentation, and it was funny because we got there and sat right next to her son, and that was put us right dead center, right?
Mhm.
And so it felt like she was actually talking right to me. And she said, how many times do you offer the business opportunity?
Mm.
Like just like straight at that question. And I was just, I had to be like, probably not, hardly ever, because that's something that I've struggled with. So hearing her presentation about that, and really taking a hard look at that on my with myself, so I've gotten much bolder and speaking up about it, and having I mean, I've got several people who have, you know they've said they want to build a business, and we'll see. Like you said, like sometimes that looks different than what I want it to look like. So just kind of starting from there, but definitely ask yourself that question: how many times are you actually offering it?
Mhm. Yeah, it's important because people, like I said, very likely aren't going to come toward you and ask you about it. Sometimes they will, right? People who already have an entrepreneurial mindset or have noticed what you're doing and have gotten curious, you might once in a blue moon have someone approach you and ask, "Hey, tell me about what you do. I'm interested in that." It's very rare. You've got to be in that mindset of asking others because, like I said, most people, unless they're very strong, very healthy in their own mindset, are not going to ask you. They're going to talk themselves out of it. So, that's good. Yeah, that's true. I remember when she said that, and that was like an ouch moment for a lot of people, right? Like, am I really doing that? Am I really asking? Am I offering that? Because you can have a small business where you sell oils and you can help a lot of people just all by yourself, but it's going to be pretty hard to get much beyond elite, to be honest, without having some who are at least sharing and they can just be sharers, but also you're going to get to leadership ranks, need some who are committed, at least part-time commitment builders. So yeah. All right, that's great. Anyone else have anything you're working on within maintaining momentum? All those different kind of categories of continuing to keep momentum moving forward, looking for or talking to potential builders, working on personal development. What are some ways you do any of those things?
Well, I'll go. For me, everybody that I know, and I'm retired, and even in the retirement community, everybody I know is doing more than just their job. Nobody can afford to live on just their job anymore. Everybody's got multiple little side gigs going on. So when I'm talking to somebody, 9 times out of 10, they'll mention, what they do, if they're struggling financially or whatever. And I just always just simply mention, that there's other, I do oils and I love my oils and I started getting my oils by making enough money that where I could afford them because I couldn't afford them just to buy them outright. So I just made enough money that I could afford them for a long time. And I don't necessarily dive right into the builder thing, but I just tweak their interest about, you can make enough money to pay for your oils if you want to do oils, or you can make as much money as you want. It just depends on how motivated you want to be. And that it never seems to bother people that we have the conversation. I
Mhm.
mean, it hasn't really produced any builders, but the conversations are out there all over the place. So, and you never know when somebody's going to lose their job with AI or, decide, I've got a friend who's got 2 kids and she's working at a nursing home and the money that she makes basically pays for taking care of her kids. She doesn't really make any extra money. And I told her, I said, well, now that you're working in a nursing home and you're meeting people, that'd be a perfect opportunity to
Mhm.
to tell people about essential oils, especially in a nursing home, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, I never really thought about that. And I said, yeah, you don't have to work real hard to make money at doTERRA. You're just teaching people about natural healing. Really, that's all you're
Yeah.
doing. And it doesn't take, especially if you're using it, you just use your life experience.
Hello.
Yes, and that's a good point, and I would think especially in a nursing home type setting, I know a lot of people go in and offer um, aroma touch hand techniques to the patients.
They
They
love it.
can introduce oils to the staff, and I know sometimes people would think, well, oh, I just hate to see when someone who's really committed to doTERRA decides to take a part-time job, as if that speaks somehow to the business opportunity not working. I don't think that way at all. I think that's great. Maybe that's exactly what you need to do sometimes to be able to meet people. If
Right.
you're, working some kind of remote job and staying home all the time and then going into retirement or something, you're not going to meet people in the ways that you need to unless you're very outgoing and joining a lot of social clubs and doing that kind of thing. But sometimes taking a job, working out in the community is really one of the best ways to meet people. And if that's a place you're at in life where you need to do that, that's not anything to be ashamed of at all. And you can take advantage of that opportunity where you're out there in your community serving, working in some way, and make those connections that you're day in and day out influencing the same people. That's building relationships
Yeah.
versus just, meeting
I
people in
think
a
a lot of
grocery
times
store.
we think, well, if you're going to approach somebody about building, it has to be this presentation, and it doesn't. You just want to make it, a conversation. It's just like when you're developing prospects to become customers. You don't just walk up and say, here, let me give you a presentation about doTERRA. You got to develop that relationship and that conversation. Then it becomes more natural when they
Right.
do want to have, a little bit more, then you
Yes.
do want to give them a presentation. But I think that stumbles us a lot of times because we think, well, in order to get builders, you have to be really good at, talking to people about the business. No, you
Mhm.
just do it naturally.
Yeah, and that's why I love that question, are you open? Are you open to learning about essential oils? Are you open to the idea of earning income from doTERRA? And because again, it's non-threatening and it's just asking, is there openness? And very rarely does someone say no, but then you know, okay, this is not the time for that conversation. Maybe they'll be open at another time, and that's fine. But you won't know unless you ask. And like you said, you don't have to whip out a presentation right then. But you're not going to ask the question if you're also not confident, right? You're not going to ask, are you open to learning about essential oils if you're not confident to teach about essential oils? You're not going to ask, are you open to learning about the business or making income with doTERRA if you don't feel confident? So practice, get a friend, a sideline, upline, downline, whatever, your partner, your spouse, someone, just say, hey, I need to practice talking about this. I need to make sure it's clear. If someone were to say, yes, I'm open, and I need to know what I'm going to say. What are my talking points? And again, it can just be a conversation, but you do want to have, in case they do want to take the next step, know that you can explain just the basic first steps of earning income. You don't need to explain to someone how to become a presidential diamond on the very first conversations about the business, but you need to be able to help them see that there is a path to 500, that these are the first couple of ways that we make commissions with doTERRA. And yeah, find out, do they just want to make up the cost of their own oils? A lot of us were in that boat, right? A lot of us were wanting to just make up the cost of our own oils. And that was our first step where I really want these oils, but I can't afford to affect my, family budget. And so I need to make enough to just pay for my order. And then your belief grows as your check grows, right? So a lot of times it goes, oh, wow, okay, I'm paying for my order. I'm getting a little bit beyond that. I wonder if I could make enough to, pay for my phone bill or the mortgage or whatever's next, the car payment or kids' dance lessons or something. And then it grows from there. So that's where you start small with people. You don't, like Debbie said, you don't want to overwhelm them with too much information, but you want to be confident that you can answer their questions. But always remember too, if you're new at this, you can always say, I'm still new at this. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. Maybe you're just new at presenting the business. Maybe you've been using the oils for a long time, but you've never really had a business conversation. So you're new. I'm still new at this. I'm still learning. We're going to learn together. I'm going to find out the answer to that. And it gives you a reason to follow up with them. Nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. I don't actually know the answer to that question. You're honest. People will appreciate your honesty rather than trying to bluff your way through it and say, that's a great question. I'm going to learn that and I'm going to learn that with you. I'm going to come back to you and help you understand it too. So don't be afraid to launch into a conversation, even if you don't know all the answers yet, but try to understand the basics. And that's going to help you all the more to understand how you are going to set a path to 500 or a path to silver or whatever your goal is. So this week we have this great opportunity with BOGOs, and I know a lot of you probably already saw Alicia Matisse shared in the Freedom Tree, and a lot of us leaders, we've shared it with our teams, but she had some really great tips. So I want you to think about your BOGO strategy because opportunities like this don't come along very often. And then we also, expect the frankincense special in December. And we want to be always thinking about our strategy for the month, for the week, for the day, right? Breaking it into those steps. But weeks like this, when we have BOGOs come up, it's a really special opportunity. And we can gain a lot of momentum. And we're talking about maintaining momentum this week. And so that's really important to think, how can I leverage these opportunities like BOGOs to get some momentum and then to maintain momentum? So some of the strategy ideas to really create some serious momentum and boost your end of year goals and your sales and that type of thing. A lot of what Alicia shared was social media focused, but it doesn't have to be your main focus if that's not how you build, right? But make sure that you have that link and you're sharing it everywhere that you can with your people. You just add your own ID to the end of this link. I'm going to put it in the chat too, but it's just doterra.com/US/EN for English /BOGO owner ID. And then Alicia just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you would replace that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the end because you'll see there's a page link error in the chat if you're looking at that. You replace that with your own ID. And when someone clicks on your personalized link, they are automatically linked to you. And all those BOGOs are already in that cart. So any order they place is automatically credited to you. There's no confusion, no lost volume, no guessing on who gets the sale. But you want to be smart about how you share your links. So she was pointing out in her strategy, the algorithms out there on social media don't love direct links. So you can drop your link in the comments, not the post itself. That helps. And you can say, check the comments for the link. So write something engaging. Um, for example, BOGO Week is here. Which one would you grab first? Comment below, and I'll drop my promo code in the comments. That kind of thing. Post in groups that do allow product shares. So maybe there's some community groups. Not all of those groups do allow you to share. You also want to be authentic, not salesy. Just, in general, these BOGO deals are just too good not to share. You can also ask friends and family to share your post. And of course, if they're customers, they can share their referral link. But borrow others' audiences. Have a few supportive friends or family members hit the share button on your posts, and that expands your reach to hundreds of new people too. You can also be sharing the BOGO Club that Tanya has always put together for us for each round of BOGOs, and the posts in there that she has are open for us to share. Use your stories, use reels, go live. Do videos of yourself showing the oils and why you love them and how you use them. Some people are going to be more likely to click on something that's got your face, you talking, than they will just on a static image or someone else's video. You can do a really quick clip of unboxing, diffusing, talking about your favorite oils. You can say comment BOGO or comment ebook or whatever. There's an ebook doTERRA put together, so you can say comment if you'd like this guide, that kind of thing, and get people to engage. Comment with the word guide, that type of thing. So we're doing those giveaways and things in the BOGO Club group. Tanya's got some awesome giveaways. I think she's got like 5 different ones. I'm looking up, that she shared that our team could take advantage of. So we've got the oil pouch for tagging people in BOGO Club, the owl diffuser for naming the owl. Let's come up with a fun name for the owl and tag a friend. Emotional aromatherapy set for ordering BOGOs this week, and there's more giveaways to come. There's also a giveaway in Drop by Drop for Blue Lotus, and this is for customers and advocates. You can enter by posting about BOGOs with their referral link. So they can do a post of their own about the BOGOs, put their own referral link, even just customers, and then you get a chance to win Blue Lotus if you go back and comment in Drop by Drop. So this is a really great way for you to teach your customers how to share that referral link and start referring people, and they get that 20% in-store credit and you get an enrollment. So some other tips for social media and communicating out, email and text. Don't rely only on social media. Send your personalized link directly to past customers, anyone who ordered from the past round of BOGOs. Those are your warmest audience, people who are inactive, maybe haven't ordered for a while, people who enrolled but haven't ordered recently. Of course, anybody on LRP, they need to know they can do that instant order, that they don't have to create another rewards order. And just don't wait for the algorithms. Don't wait for BOGO Club. Do your own creating of connections. You're the one who needs to be connecting with people, relating to people, and closing those orders. So it really is all about relationships. And that's where genuine connections are going to turn into loyal customers for you. So whether it's sending out texts, sending a simple email blast or newsletter, following up with people who ordered in the past, and really the excitement in your voice, people are going to feel that through your words, whether it's translated through the keyboard or not, but you may need to pick up the phone, and that may be the best way to get through to a lot of people, the good old-fashioned phone call. So if you have the time, make time each day this week to reach out to people. Now, November, we know people are thinking about gifts, right? Everyone's shopping. So position the BOGOs as easy gift wins. People are already thinking about Black Friday next week and what they're going to be shopping for, what deals are out there. Well, we've got some awesome wellness deals here, right? So grab a BOGO for yourself, plus one to gift to a teacher, a friend, or a family member. That's some verbiage you could use that she put in her guide. Basically, you're getting free Christmas gifts. How fun is that, right? When you tie BOGOs to gifting and stocking up, you tap into what people are already thinking about. And then there's the, of course, refer a friend gold mine. That's where the magic really multiplies. So be thinking about that. Tanya's got that post in Drop by Drop specifically already leading us to do that. But you can message your existing customers and remind them where to find their link or even just give them their link. So make it really easy for them. It's the same for everyone, just the ID number at the end is different. Encourage them to share their favorite BOGO deal, saying something like, I just grabbed this lavender and peppermint BOGO. Here's my link if you want one too. Here's how I use these. And that's just more social proof. A customer who's not selling anything, just saying, this is kind of like an affiliate. This is how I use these, and you can use them too and get this great deal. And that is something that you can encourage your customers to do. It's a win-win. You get the volume, they get those perks. You can create a post in your customer groups if you have your own customer group. You can do some giveaways similar to what we're doing or what Tanya's doing in BOGO Club and also in Drop by Drop, um, and invite people to that group. That is for everyone, customers, potential customers, family, friends, everybody's welcome to BOGO Club. So there's already some giveaways, there's more coming, there's daily deals, all of that kind of stuff that, that's social proof. That's a big group with a lot of people. And when your people see others buying, commenting, celebrating, winning, that just validates their own decision to order too, and that's really contagious energy. So invite everybody and tag people. You do need to go in and tag your customers and the people that you've invited so that they'll see it because they're not as likely to see it if I comment or if I post or if Tanya comments or posts as if you do because you're their friend, and that's just how the algorithms work within those groups. So treat that as your own customer group too, and that's going to help you to lead by example because your team members, whether they're casual sharers or committed builders, they're going to do what you model. Okay, so when they see you showing up, when they see you unboxing and doing a live video or posting and that kind of thing, and they get a text from you, they're going to realize, oh, I should, do that for my people too. And so be consistent, be excited, and that will give others those ideas to do that with you as well. So being present and making sure that you are informing everyone you can, that you're showing up with some energy and some of that magnetic energy that people are going to catch on to and really follow as well. So that's where momentum starts. Somebody has to go first, and then this can really be where you plant a lot of seeds that continue to grow, to continue to inspire people. You get some new people in. We've got the double fast start going. I know some of you have already gotten that, and that's exciting. And then it's going to take you into December when people can get frankincense. Typically, it's the 200 PV special. And then into the new year with other wellness challenges, whether it's a 90-day cleanse or whatever it might be that we're focusing on or you choose to focusing on. And then she kind of ended her strategies, which there are some great ideas, with some questions you could ask. Have you ever thought about sharing more intentionally? Speak belief into people, like we've already talked about. Let people borrow your confidence. That's how builders are born, through connection, encouragement, and somebody just being brave enough to say you would be amazing at this too. And that's really what it means to be a leader. See potential in other people before they even see it in themselves, and then just call it out. Speak that out, cheer for others, and help others to burn brighter in that light that they have and that influence that they have to help others too. And that's really how the movement that is your business, your personal team, that's how it will grow. It starts with a conversation, it starts with these little connections and belief being built. So those are some ideas for making BOGO Week great. I hope you're already starting to see some success. These are the best BOGOs we've seen in quite a long time. Who's excited about those? They're really awesome BOGOs this time. So what are you doing? Let's just wrap up with a little bit more engagement here. What are you doing for pipes this week? What are you doing to share BOGOs? What is your strategy? What are the steps you're taking? What success have you seen lately with any of the pipes, with any of the things you've learned from whether it's Go for Growth, Monday meetups in general, the videos, maybe you've watched some replays from convention, some other educational videos. What's something you've been implementing lately, and what's something you still plan to implement throughout this week to move forward and create momentum in your business?
I just wanted to say I'm real excited about something that happened. I'm always pushing people to be an LRP, get to your 30%. Well, I had a customer today, a new customer, they're a year old, and they're up to 30%. They had $300 or $400 in their LRP. And I said, this is the perfect time to use it. Get the BOGO box and then get all those expensive oils you've been wanting and Christmas presents and then use your points for it. They saved $500 using their LRP. They were so excited. They were telling everybody, this is the way to go. You need to go get your BOGOs. You need to use your LRP points because they saved like $500 plus they got all the extra bonuses from the BOGOs. And, if you don't talk to your people about their LRP points, a lot of people aren't using them. They forget they got them. They don't know exactly how to use them. They just leave them in there. So she said, well, I'm going to save mine up all this year too, so I can do this again next year.
Good. Yeah, that's such a great way to offer support and customer service.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have points or they have even an account balance, maybe a return they had or something that was credited or some little commission they earned that wasn't enough to get a check, and they don't even realize they've got that sitting there. So we need to let people know and make sure they know how to use those so they don't lose them. And sometimes people just aren't paying attention or don't know how that works, and they get very excited when they realize, oh my goodness, I have how many points or whatever it is. So Tanya shared a tip she learned that, yeah, Meta does drop visibility when you paste a link. They don't really want to promote links that take you outside of Facebook or Instagram, whatever platform you're on. So if you paste a link in your stories, those kind of get hidden. So you can put a sticker with a poll, you can put a question to kind of get engagement, and then instruct them to direct message you to get your link. Because when you share direct links that lead people outside of the platform, they tend to not make those as visible, unfortunately. Tanya shared also in the chat a preview of all 5 giveaways that she's doing this week. So the Serenity Stick, the Owl, the pouch, the Blue Lotus, and then the Emotional Aromatherapy Kit.
Thank you, Tanya.
And don't forget to enter yourselves too, okay? So you have a chance to win also. It's not just for customers. And you can lead by example because when you comment and engage, then your people are going to see that too. Roxanne said, I'm going to be trying the Create Your Wave strategies for BOGOs. Make my own under $20, $50, and $75 bundles for Christmas gifts. Yay, that's awesome. Great strategy. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else have anything specific that you're implementing for BOGO week or just in general for your business?
I'm going to share something with you guys in case you haven't seen it.
Okay.
I saw it like right the end of the day today. I was sitting scrolling through Facebook and I stole this from Peggy Smith. She posted on her Facebook page. Hello, Facebook friends. Many of you know I have been with doTERRA International for 16 years. Did you know that you can use my discount for 1 year and try them out? They're medical grade, so they can be taken internally. We also have products for your wellness, foundation, and cleansing. Consider messaging me. I'd love to chat with you. Here's my link. Feel free to check it out. She puts her link. And I was like, that is brilliant. That's brilliant. So I just took out the Hello Facebook part and just put, did you know that you can use my discount for a year and try out some oils? I like kind of.
Yeah, I like that wording too.
I sent that I just was like, bam, I'm just going to send that to a few people who just seem to like keep asking me questions, but I can't get them to move forward. And I already since I sent that a couple hours ago, I've got 2 people at least asking questions. Well, if I do this, do I have to order every month?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have a minimum that I have to order every, stuff like that. At least it got them engaged.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
that's cool. I can type that real quick into the post into the chat if you want, because it's just some good wording.
Yeah, that is some great verbiage. Thank
Crystal,
you.
can we use the words medical grade?
I know, I was surprised. I figured if Peggy did it, I did it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's technically a certification
Compliant.
that we have, but it's, tested grade. And I don't, if she's saying it and she's not getting in trouble for it, I mean, she's got a lot more top leaders in doTERRA looking at what she's saying than any of us do. So,
Yeah.
and I
Okay.
think
I don't want to be
sometimes
Debbie
people's
Downer.
philosophy is just like, well, I can always take it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tanya says there's no such thing as medical grade anyway. So it's just clever language. And yeah, the worst they can ever ask is that you delete something. I've been in that boat before with compliance. I've had to delete something. Oops, I said cough and I forgot or whatever. Okay, you change it, you delete it, you move on. So you get the engagement out of it that you can, and then if you're asked, you can always change it. But I don't think you would for saying the word medical. It's not. That's yeah. A few of our products are pharmaceutical grade, but a lot of people that we're trying to reach don't even want to hear the word pharmaceutical. It's like a dirty word anyway, right? So medical grade has a better ring to it, doesn't it? Peggy is very clever that way.
Yes.
Crystal, I have
Yes,
to agree. I like the way that, thank you, Twinkle, for sharing that. And I just think Peggy is clever anyway.
she is.
I'll never forget that convention where she started laughing on stage and I was at home and I could not get myself together. I had to go back and rewind so I could hear what they actually said because I was still laughing. But either way, thank you for sharing that once again. And I like also what Roxanne said. That's kind of what I was trying to do as well. Um, the make your $20, $50, or $75 bundles for Christmas. I was trying to, sort of figure out how do I introduce people to things for the Christmas season so that they could purchase or make it easy for them to just search and go, right? So I like what she said. I was also interested this year in vending again. So I was looking for bazaars and things that I could go to meet more people because I am in a new location and homeschooling. I'm not really a part of like groups because we do a lot of things from home. So I don't go out a lot. I know a lot of people think I do, but I don't. So that would be a great way to meet more people is vending. And the other thing is that I wanted to utilize my children who has more social media knowledge than I do. I learned today that somebody has 990 subscribers in my house, and I was like, I didn't even know you had an account. So let's leverage that and use your tech knowledge, and you help me in my
Yes.
business, and I appreciate it. The other thing is, um, I was trying to think of it all, but they have the TV on in there and I can't think. Um, so leveraging my kids, doing the craft bazaars and the vending booths. And oh, I know what I wanted to say. When you were talking about certainty, clarity, and confidence, I think I may be tilting into from clarity into confidence. And I think for me, just showing up has really helped me in the business. To gain, I already have confidence in the product,
Mhm.
but to gain more confidence in what in the world am I doing and where I fit in this. And I shared on last week that while I have the dreams to be, elite, premier, diamond, whatever, all of these things, I've just been being still sometimes and allowing, well, I just have to say it the way it is, and allowing the Lord to build me up in who I am to become the person that I'm supposed to be is what I'm actually holding on to. And in that process, it is giving the confidence that's needed to push forward. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Well, I love all of that. So, all of you have some great ideas. Don't forget to comment on Saturday or by Saturday with whatever pipes activities you do this week. It's a great week to leverage all those pipes activities you've been learning about, put that into practice for BOGOs, come back and comment and go for growth. So, you have a chance to win Milama. And all of you who came with your camera on tonight, you have a chance to win Citrus Twist, and it's our last week of Go for Growth. So I'll announce the winners after all the content is done being posted sometime over the weekend. So that is going to be a wrap on our Go for Growth, and we're taking off next week for Thanksgiving. And then we should have Empowered Success the following week with doTERRA. I haven't double checked the schedule on that, but we should the first Monday of December. And then, yeah, Twinka just put that verbiage in the chat if anybody wants to grab that. That you could also just look for Peggy Smith's profile and check that out also. But yes, that's some great verbiage. Now, always remember when I'll just end with this note, when you are looking at other people's social media posts and you see something that you really like, make sure you don't copy it word for word. Make it your own, okay? Because the algorithms do not like when the same verbiage or the same images are used over and over, and they'll actually hide that because they consider that, oh, that might be spam. And so it hurts you and it hurts the person who originally posted it when you don't use your own original wording. So take the concept and idea, but don't plagiarize, okay? And not that social media is officially a form of plagiarism if you copy, but just think of it that way. Like I'm an English composition teacher too, right? So I'm always harping on plagiarism. You cite your sources. If you're not going to cite it, you have to completely reword it, come up with your own original thoughts. If your mind is blank, I mean, go ahead and use ChatGPT, but don't let it sound like AI and don't let AI steal all your creativity. You can do this, okay? So take Peggy's idea and use some of the same words, but make it your own and don't copy all the same images and that kind of thing. Not because it's a big deal so much for creative license on social media, of course, but really because you want it to be as visible as possible. And then take the link and remember to put the link in the comments. Say, check the first comment or check the comments for the link instead of putting it in the post itself. Because again, that's something that anything there's links that take someone off the platform of the social media, they want you to stay on there. They want you scrolling Facebook for hours and hours and seeing all those ads, right? They don't want you to click something that takes you away from Facebook. So they tend to hide those. So put that in the link. So yes, it works well for texting also, that verbiage. So if you're sending out texts. So yeah, you'll get better visibility and don't copy word for word. Just a couple of little tips to help you out with your social media if you're using it that way. So text, call, post, do videos, reels, all the things this week. Reach people however you need to. Add them to BOGO Club. Enter the giveaways yourself. Tag people. Take advantage of that and then come back and share your success. Share what you did and how it worked for you. And we will look forward to connecting on Monday again in, I guess it'll be a few weeks since we're taking next week off and the next week's Empowered Success, but we'll be connecting on all the business groups and wrapping up Go for Growth. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. And thank you to everyone who came on and shared. Have a great night.
Good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.